Well, it's done. The mortgage is paid off. It's been, oh God, seems like a lifetime, but actually only about 6.5, something like that, maybe 7 years. About 7 years since my wife and I started our get out of debt plan. Or I say ours, it's really, I started listening to Dave Ramsey on the radio, who is awesome, by the way, and decided to change our life and stop giving all our money to the bank in interest for cars and loans and stupid credit cards and everything else. And today is the culmination of that. 6.5 years later, we paid off, oh gosh, a shade over $200,000. So, and also had 3 kids in the process, which are even more awesome than paying off the debt. So it's been great. Now it's going to be really great. I don't want out with me this morning. I did a bunch of work to the bike the other day, lubed the cables and took the flap doors out of the air box and several other little mods to make it run a little better, give it a bit more power. And also cranked up the fuel mixture 1 notch on the power commander. Might be a tad rich at idle, we'll see. The throttle response seems to be better, which it was always good, but seems to be spot on now. Super smooth. There's one fault that I have found with this bike is I guess it's the thing with all high compression twins, the mapping for starting and idling is a bit off, especially when it's cold. It can be a pain to start properly, and you better have a battery charger on it, and a great battery. It does not like low voltage. The first thing I did when I got it was put a brand new battery in it, and I keep it on a battery tender. It'll recharge the battery after riding, but it does not have an overabundance of charging system, and I think that's sort of a known fault with these bikes. But there's some beautiful homes here. Some of these old houses are just massive. I could only imagine the cost of upkeep, but some incredible houses. Several hundred years old, probably most of them. There is some serious money, old money in Lawrence. There's some trash too, but that's everywhere, I guess. There is some seriously beautiful. This one right here is just magnificent. It looks like a castle. I think they do weddings and all kind of crazy stuff there, but what a mansion. I bought a Bronco from a person that lives in one of the houses back there on the right, and he was telling me about, I was asking him, about how it was like owning those old houses, and he said the worst thing about it was the power. He said his power bill was astronomical, heating and cooling, because most of those old homes didn't have really much insulation in them, and they're obviously huge. But he was telling me about $700 a month power bills in the summer, which it's a big house, but good God, an expensive property to own. You better enjoy upkeep and big utilities. But I guess the beauty of the house outweighs the upkeep sometimes. But anyway, back to the debt-free stuff. People ask me all the time, they get offended if I talk about being debt-free or paying for things with cash. They don't even understand it, and I was one of those people. I can remember being excited when I got my credit card limit raised to $15,000. I thought I had won. I mean, which looking back now seems like this most insane thing. It doesn't even make sense. It just seems stupid. But our society is give it to me now. I don't want to wait. People don't even care what stuff costs anymore. They only care about how much is the payment. Which is sad. I mean, it's my own. I watched financial things and debt destroy my parents' marriage, and even though my father made very good money, they were constantly in debt. And after so many years, I mean, it just took its toll. They didn't live on a plan, and they didn't live together, and that's such an important thing. And then when my wife and I got married and started having our children, I just wanted to. I got to the place where I wanted to not end up like that. Now, my father and mother are both wonderful people and were great parents, but and everyone makes mistakes. It's not a blame thing, but I just wanted to eliminate things that I knew could destroy my family, because I watched it do so much damage to my parents and to all. I have a lot of brothers and sisters from a big family. The oldest of 7, so even to this day there's repercussions, and I wanted to try to eliminate as much of those things as possible. I never wanted money to be in the way of my family, so I thought, when I listened to Dave and on his radio show and I read his book, I just realized it's nothing. It's simple. It's don't buy what you can't pay for. Period. There's no rocket science to it, and have a plan. Save some money, live on a little less than you make, and work together. Talk about your finances and your life with your spouse. Live as one. And God, what a change. I wish everyone could experience the feeling of peace and freedom that it brings, and they can. It's not hard. I'm an automobile repair technician. I mean, my wife is a nurse, and she actually now is a stay-at-home mother of our 3 children. We didn't make $300,000 a year by any stretch. We're just normal. I didn't even go to college. I'm a high school graduate. My wife has an associate's degree. But all it required was a plan and a little sacrifice. I love the sound of this thing. But it works. Get on a plan, write out a budget, and live free, baby. Woo! It feels like I'm flying today. I go home and take my boots off and walk through my grass. My grass. Finally. It's the first time in my adult life, I'm 36 years old, that I have ever been debt free. And unless it is necessary to keep my wife or my children alive or in a home, I will never pay another hand again. Jesus, what a feeling. I highly encourage everyone to try it. And guess what? If you don't like it, go get your ass a loan. It's a whole lot easier to get in debt than it is to get out. Let me assure you. What takes you 10 minutes to buy will take you 10 years to pay off. So, open your eyes, people. Stop living for today. Get a plan and fucking win. It's just not that hard. And it feels great. It feels great. Last day off. Going back to work on Monday. Back to the grind. But I'm blessed. I work for a good man who happens to be my brother, but he is a good man. I have a good job. I make good money. And what more do you need? A nice bike to ride? Yeah. I tell you, a big thing with all this stuff too is learning, and it's hard, but it's learning contentment. Being happy with what you have, and there's nothing wrong with wanting more. If I had the money, I'd be riding a brand new ZX14 or Panigale, who knows what, you know. But, and I will one day, but when I can write a check for it. But being content in the things that you own and breaking yourself of worrying about what everyone else thinks, that is the, and especially in today's Facebook society, that is one of the biggest problems in our world, is people's really reliance on what others think. I mean, who gives a shit? If Billy Bo went out and bought a new car, or, you know, so what? I mean, all that stuff is nice, and I'll say nice car, but you can't define your life on others, you know. But when you break yourself of that mentality of keeping up with the Joneses or whatever you want to call it, Jesus, it changes your life. The greatest thing that I learned out of all of this is to not care what other people think. And I don't mean, you know, you gotta keep yourself clean and neat, and personal appearance and that kind of thing is important. People judge you for that, like it or not. But as far as molding your life after what other people perceive as happiness, you know, it's just the wrong way to go. It'll never lead you anywhere but to unhappiness, disparity, divorce. You can't live that way and prosper. You have to learn to be your own person and be happy and thankful for the things that you have. And when you want something better, and you want to strive for something nicer, do the work together. Work hard. You know, put the overtime in. Save the money, you know. Don't just run out and finance it so you can have it today to impress people. I mean, it's so pointless. People will go out and pay $800 a month for a car so they can sit at a stoplight and impress people they'll never even meet, or friends they don't really even like. And I did it. I mean, I did those things. It never brought me anything. But broke. That's about the only thing I ever got out of it. Thankfully, those days are gone. They are gone. Gosh, what a beautiful day. I hope my little setup here is working. I'm talking a lot. Hopefully the sound is decent. We'll find out. It's comfortable. It doesn't seem to have any effects on the aero of my helmet. It's the ATV K4 Evo, which is a comfortable light helmet, but a bit of wind noise. It's no shoey or, you know, air rack. But it's also not $700, so. But it is a nice helmet. I think if this works good, I'm gonna make this my motovlogging helmet and save up for a nice new 1200 shoey, which I've wanted for quite some time. But now I'm finally going to have the ability to buy one and not affect my personal budget. Woo, those brakes are good, boy. I like it. No more grrr. Slappy McSlapple when you try to hit the front brake. Nice improvement. I try to start doing these vlogs every day just because I see so much crazy stuff riding back and forth 100 miles a day to work. Obviously I'll cut a lot of that out, but you know, the highway portion is crazy. Every day it's like a battle for your life, which is kind of scary, but it's also somewhat exciting. It makes the ride to work enjoyable, I guess you would say. Sometimes I get to work and I'm happy that I made it in one piece, but it's also why I wear full leather and armor and everything else every day, even when it's 90 degrees outside, because you can't put a price on your life, and these fools, they will take it if you let them. You don't wear the gear, Jesus, go buy it. It's worth every penny. Buy the best you can afford, and as much of it as you can stand to wear, even when it's hot. I'm lucky I don't do a lot of city riding, so most of mine is freeway and this type of riding in the country, which I love this little spot. It's amazing. But, good gear is worth every penny, and you ride more confidently. I do anyway. I feel like when I go to the mountains and stuff with my leather and boots and all this stuff on, that I can push it a little more with a bit more margin of safety. You don't, I mean, you can always be hurt or killed in anything, but you know that if you fall, you're at least going to have some skin left when you stop sliding. And every bit of padding you can strap on always helps, but hand riding, and don't ride like an asshat, you know, especially young guys, and I did it too. You know, you get on a leader bike and you're 20 years old and bulletproof, and you know, you feel like you're riding the lightning, and you are, but you know, a little mistake costs you everything. As you age, now that I'm 20 years older, I realize that my life and my body is quite fragile, and I like them. I don't want to throw them away needlessly for the sake of a little speed rush. You don't really need as much speed rush as you age. 100 feels like 300 now, so which I rarely even see 100 anymore. So one plus, you get the same rush with a whole lot less speed. Be careful out there, guys. Riding a bike is inherently more dangerous, obviously, but it is incredibly fun and rewarding and free. It's like flying. It's the closest you can get to flying on the ground, so it's been a passion, and it's of mine since I was a small child. Mom gave me a moped, I guess you call it a moped, a Honda Spree scooter, and I took a piece of rebar and drove it through the exhaust pipe to make it open exhaust, and that began my lust for motorcycles. And I've taken a few years off here and there, but for the vast majority of my life I've always owned a bike, and probably will continue to. I don't see that ever going away unless I get physically to the point that I cannot ride anymore. Open, you can pour it. It's almost like you were coming up on the pipe. You can feel a little surge when the butterflies open, which I really did not like. With them cut out, you do feel a little difference as far as smoothness. You can't feel them opening and closing. So it was a good mod, I guess. I don't feel any power difference, but you know, what is 2 plastic butterflies? It's not really going to make a lot of difference. And this is a stock gear bike too, so it's geared rather tall. I mean, it's 6 gear, you're running 60 at 3,300 RPM, 3,500. So not a lot of gearing there, but I run a lot of throughway and distance. Dropping a tube is not really what I'm looking for. And with the torque, I mean, even at 3,500, you roll on at 6, plenty of power. And it only builds as you get to the red line by 9 or 10,000 RPM. This thing is really pushing you back in the seat. It doesn't have the top-end screen like my R1 has, but so much more mid and bottom, which is 99% of what you ride, you know. I really enjoy the twin power band much better. I'm going to go try and test ride some Ducatis. I don't hear a lot of good things about them. I've never owned one or worked on one. I've worked on a lot of bikes, being a mechanic for a living. Bikes and ATVs, I've been repairing them for years on the side. I have little to no knowledge of Ducati, so they're beautiful bikes. Some some of the best looking motorcycles ever made are been Bugattis. And they do have quite a distinct sound, which I like. I don't particularly care for the dry clutch rattle. Some people love it. I guess it's one of those things where if you love it, you love it. If you don't, you don't. But I'm going to try to set up an appointment at my local dealer and ride an $8.99 and a $12.99 Panigale and see how they are. Because my plan is in the next year and a half to save up and purchase a new motorcycle. I actually may keep this bike just because I've always wanted one, and it is a rare bike, and I love riding it. But something a bit more modern too. As beautiful as it is, the styling is a bit late 90s, you know. But we'll see how it goes. Also, I'm going to go try a new R1, which I probably will not buy. It's too small, but just to see if I can take one for a spin. And I definitely want to test the ZX14. My local dealer will allow you to test ride, obviously with approved credit and setting up a free appointment. So I'm definitely going to do that because I have been in love with the big 14 for a long time. I often thought I wanted a Busa, but there's so many Hayabusas on the road now, and the last few years they have not done anything to them. I actually heard the later model, like the 11, 12 and up, have bad or problems with transmissions and things like that. So I'm looking for something a bit more updated, and the new 14 in black is a beautiful bike. Plus it fits me and it's super comfortable. So that's all for today. Hope it turns out good.